Welcome all. This is Plutonic Plains, and I'm doing gate 39 for the next 5, 6 days. It'll be July 2nd, really the first though, all the way up to, let me see what I have on my cover. You'll see this on the cover, but I just want to know right now at the same time. 2nd to the 7th, Provocations of Independence. And so you guys will get this tomorrow morning, wherever you are in the world. Maybe you'll get it sooner. And what it is, let me show it to you. This gate is right here. For those of you who can see the human design screen. This is going to be for, looks like it kind of went in early. It's not giving me the exact, this might be universal time. Actually, probably is UTC, yeah. So July 1st, looks like it's a cross of tension. Get your massages if you need it. And I'm going to turn my fan up because I don't take the heat very well. I'm cold in my human design temperament, and it's really hot this time of year where I'm at, and it's too hot, way too hot. And so what we have is gate 39. So we look on the chart here, go down to the root center. This is the lowest open center here in the chart, and you'll see on the right hand side coming out of the root chakra. So thus this is an adrenaline motor gate portal, and it's the 39. And the 39, make sure I got my books just in case, and my notes. So gate 39 is a Cancer gate, obviously. The sun's going into Cancer right now, or it has been in Cancer for a little while. It's about midway through. And when Jupiter hits this gate a couple months, maybe longer, maybe about 4 to 5 months, I will note it and you will all feel it. This is not a nice, fuzzy, particular gate. This is probably the gate, these dates. Cancer is born between July 1st and 7th is probably the major accumulation of statistics of incarcerated cancers in jail in the United States. They did this astrological statistics to see what was the most incarcerated sign, and it was Cancer. And I don't know, I didn't get to see the investigations and the stats, but I would bet you it was during this time, the time where the sun is in gate 39. And I'm going to tell you guys why. Now, as I was describing, the physiology is the adrenals. The amino acid is serine. I'm getting into the amino acid, so I figured I'd share that. Programming partners to 38. So you see the reverse in the earth, or the opposition here in Earth, 38-1, and 38's on the other side over here. It's also a very aggressive gate, like the 39. And it's in the codon ring, the ring of seeking, along with the 15, 39, 52, 53, 54, and 58. Now, this particular gate is extraordinarily intense. On a mundane level, it's the energy to provoke, the test for the spirit being the 55. So the 39 calls out to the other side, it calls out to the 55, testing to see if there's spirit, if the energy is safe to move forward, to manifestation, to reach the throat center, and to manifest into the world. And gate 39 is, on the mundane level of human design, most of us know it as the gate of provocation. So it is this gate of provoking, testing, pushing, seeing if there is truth and authenticity behind the facade, and poking to see if there is. So this is a gate that usually this will be the kid in the classroom that likes to test the teacher. And, this type of energy needs to trust. And in order to trust, it needs to test. And, all kids test. But this major gate is it's very interesting because ultimately it is a frequency that is actually quite dark and sinister. And the provocation could be a violence with this particular gate. Here we have a gate that is about explosive primal energy shooting forth. And so anyone carrying the shadow frequency of this, it's going to be a pretty reactive kind of response instinctually. This is like a trapped animal. This is like someone, being put in a position with their back to the wall, nothing to lose, right? That's kind of what freedom is in a sense. We only feel freedom when we've got nothing more to lose. And so all risk is possible and taken. So this particular gate waits in itself silently, waiting to strike. And one example that Rudd had for this, which was pretty interesting to me, was he started talking about, in relation to this particular gate, he started talking about the frequencies and how we can change our frequencies as human beings. And what he discussed was that one of the main ways to change your frequency is to focus on, in other words, when something is horrific, like the movie that's playing, right now there's so much chaos transmitting through the collective. We're all processing it or attempting to process it through our open centers. And you could see in this human design graph for today and tomorrow, for this week, really, it's all open. There's no connecting channels. So the energy is just pouring through all the open centers. And, it'll connect to gates in your chart, but really where it's all happening is the Aries vanishing point here in gate 25, which is looking for the 51. And if you got the 51, you are activated to mysticism right now. That's very powerful. And let's see if I don't lose track here. So what I was trying to get at was we have a gate here that can express itself in a high frequency or in a lower frequency. And to express in a low frequency is to just indulge in the negative and negative attitudes, which overtake the lower frequencies of what it is to be, whether it's a victimhood, victimizer cycle, whether it's deflection or running away to the mind, scared of feeling, scared of the heart, or whether it's fear of rejection or fear of sharing the self. These are all deep-seated fears that are based in protection, desperate protection of the self. And thus it can manifest as a type of frozenness in the body. Because there's a deep fear here. So I'm talking about the nervous system, like going into fawn or something, into deep fatigue. And so, fear ultimately expresses itself. Once it expresses itself, it expresses violence. And in order to shift these kind of frequencies, when you see that everywhere you look is negativity and no possibility, look and find where there is possibility. In other words, consider, reflect, and state to yourself, what else is possible here? And that's just another way of saying that your attitude will shift what's available and possible in your world, in your realm, in your frequency field, what your biofield is engaging with. It will shift its frequency in order to match that which is that frequency that you're putting out, that your field is putting out, that your toroidal field is emanating forth. And it does it so by a precise utilization of tone and words and codes that come out in such a way that they're actually investigating other possibilities. And so the tone of your voice is, as we all know, it's the tone of the voice that triggers humans. It's not so much what you say, but it's how you say it. It's it's like the awareness of the 57, for example. The 57 being very intuitive, especially in the dream rave, it hears the sound of someone's voice, and there's what is there, 12 notes in Western music theory? And there's those ideas that, does your voice hold all the notes or does it hold a majority of the notes? If you vibe with a voice, if you're listening to this, then you enjoy my voice. If you didn't enjoy my voice, then you wouldn't be listening to this because you're resonating with my frequency. And my voice actually resonates to most of the notes. There's some notes that are lower and it's kind of missing, and those are like two or three notes when I got it, when I got the whatever the test on the software. And those are particular notes, but I'm hoping I'm integrating them more and more in an effort to express the wholeness of the tonal field of the field of frequency emanated forth from the voice, which is the power of a human, which is how we manifest through the voice, through expression and articulation and sound. And so, as I was saying, that is what creates the possibility of a higher frequency. Because if your attitude is such that you're looking for the possibilities instead of just drowning in the negativities, then a different emotional frequency is unlocked. And a different emotional frequency will pertain to other aspects of this gate. And those are, for example, courage and gutsiness, explosiveness. There's a primal quality to this gate. There's also, it is from the adrenals, so there's an intensity. And number one, we're looking at a very individual gate, being that it's in the middle of those two other channels. So it's an individuated expression. And, as I've said many times before, true intelligence does not come from the mind, but it comes from the lower centers, which are more related to our sacral, our intense energy, our root, our emotional energy, our intuitive energy. And so the 39 can act as a firecracker of sorts, a dynamic explosion, which can occur, and thus provoking a mutation. And itself, it is across from the 55. It's EM partner, electromagnetic. And the 55 is undergoing the transition for the sleeping Phoenix of 2027. So it's a very important gate, and how we use it in these next 7 days, and the movie's already building up, they're trying to build, it seems they're trying to build up for another show on July 4th. It seems like they're trying to provoke our fear that there's going to be some kind of incident that occurs. Personally, I don't think anything's going to occur. It's 4th of July. Why mar your own birthday? Why would the United States in its nationalist mode right now, why would it do that? That doesn't make any sense unless it would be an attempted trigger for like a civil war. But if you know your real history, the Civil War wasn't all it was told to be. It wasn't as black and white as the stories like to share. It was something else. It was a takeover. It was the northern part taking over the South and creating school districts and creating control in every city in the United States. I mean, it's a whole nother history you can get into. It's very fascinating, but it's not like you were told in the history books. That's for sure. Not even close. And so in essence, like I've been saying, in order to unleash this aspect of this frequency gate, in order to catalyze it in such a way that it creates possibility, like you're evoking here a warrior spirit of the self, a deep warrior spirit, not something just catalyzing itself in a reaction, but directing the emotional energy. So it's the ability to manage and control that intense energy in this gate in a special way. I mean, there's ways to utilize intense, especially plutonic energy, by being deep and exploring the hidden motives of things and the real answers and the real truth. That's a way to release fear and panic and lower frequencies and emotions of the body, is to speak truth with humility and to express your own truth first in context, your own kind of weakness or limitation, your own shadow. Because really, like a friend reminded me tonight, this is a real shadow time right now. In other words, all the shadows coming out, all the ugly egos are coming out from the rocks and from the ground and expressing themselves. There's nothing wrong with that, but have humility with that. Nothing wrong with a little narcissistic humility. We're all kind of, as I expressed in the last video, we're all playing with that effort to be in balance between the extremes of selfishness and selflessness. Sure, I mean, you could look at it as a hierarchy of frequency, but I feel like a horizontal line with the midpoint of balance is a real barometer for how healthy one is. Because it's balance, and it's not to say that balance is easily achieved. It's not to say that the pendulum doesn't always swing from one extreme to the other, but those swings become less and less intense with time as we hover over the center point of balance as best we can. And really it kind of comes down to is not really over personalizing things, nothing is personal in this realm, especially even being human. That's not even personal. I was looking at Joel's post today. Joel has his site. I did a couple interviews with him on my channel and on his. And I'm not remembering his channel right now, but I'll put it in the notes. And Joel brought up something in a message on YouTube about how he was on this group in X and he went back to it. He hadn't been for a while. And it was like a good conversational group and he really enjoyed the conversations there. And he said he went back and everybody was converted, to a new raw legion. And he just really in his video, he just expressed sadness. He was like, I was like, maybe I'm gonna say something, express something, but why? Why? I'm just gonna be perceived as an adversary, as a devil, as a Satan, as a Lucifer to their, would take on a new role in their narrative. There was already a place for me in that narrative. He didn't go that far, but I'm taking it further. It's so easy to just accept a narrative. I'm not saying religionists do it. I mean, all of us do. All of us, especially in our moments of fear, do. I even do that. I'll even like regress into like, well, there's this whole narrative playing out, and I'm on this side or on that side, and we do that for clarity, for the mind wants to make sure it's safe or create some kind of movie for itself that it's safe and that it's on the good guy's side or and that's kind of funny, because no one ever imagines that their own central gravity, their own ontology is not a balanced perspective, that they're not coming from a center point of some kind. And we all think that we all have that kind of perceptive hat that we're like, oh, we are the center point. I don't see it that way. I mean, we're all moving all the time on our pendulums from one side to the other. And again, doing our best to be near the center. But as I was saying, like life's not personal. I mean, life itself is something that's transcending through us. That's experiencing life is something that is experiencing itself through us. The evolution is experiencing itself through the human body. It's not even personal. To be in a human body is just an experience. And it's just energy experiencing itself, personality crystals and design crystals experiencing themselves in a body on to some other future metamorphosis or mutation. And that's definitely too scary to get into. But this is a gate that, what we're watching for the next 7 days is like tension points building, energy building and building and building and building and releasing. And we've, of course, already have seen this. I mean, Jupiter went into gate 15 in Cancer mid last month. We're seeing all these extreme narratives. We don't know what's left, what's right. We're told the wars. Kind of hilarious, My buddy, I won't reveal his name because he's scared, but my buddy was going on about the whole conceptual basis of the media provocations of war, and it's so hilarious. I have to read it verbatim. It's so brilliant. I have to ask him if it's okay if I mention his name. He'll probably be like, nah. Let's see if I can find it. It was so hilarious and so fitting. I mean, essentially what we have is like it's just a blitzkrieg of information. Who knows what's what and what's happening? We got Neptune on the Aries vanishing point, doing its best to make clarity and peace and authenticity and Saturn solidifying it as best it can for us amidst all this insanity. Or so shows the movie. What do we know of what's really going on? We don't. We don't know which is a show, which is AI, and which is real news footage. We know if we think about it for a little longer. But I mean, like I've been saying, like all this year, like reality's up for grabs. Reality's thrown up in the air, and who knows what it is. There's so much AI, and they're years ahead of us. Who knows what kind of AI technology they have, showing us videos that are supposed to be reels of reality. Let's see if I can find it here. It was hilarious. Oh yeah, He was responding to a telegram that said, while Israel strikes Tehran, U.S. President announces that Iran and Israel have agreed to a ceasefire set to begin in approximately 6 hours and that the conflict will come to a complete end in 12. And then I would like to congratulate both countries, Israel and Iran, on having the stamina, courage, and intelligence to end what should be called the 12-Day War. this is a war that could have gone on for years and destroyed the entire Middle East and destroyed, yeah, but it didn't and never will. God bless Israel. God bless Iran. God bless the Middle East. God bless the United States of America. And God bless the world. And so he wrote, maybe this will just be a 9 to 5 war with weekends, holidays, and 2 weeks of vacation after 1 year of service, with free all-you-can-eat gourmet surf and turf in the cafeterias to boost morale. Sounds like a good movie. Where's the popcorn? You forgot to add the popcorn and the movie times. But this is what it is. Don't forget that. It's just a movie. It's just playing. It's just, I think my tone just reminded me of Bill Hicks when he talks about the roller coaster and how life is like a roller coaster. It goes up, it goes down, and then the ride's over. And that's what it is. It's just a ride. But we took it all so seriously, like, oh my God, this is happening, that's happening. But really it's just a ride and we're all being taken for it. And let's see if I have anything last things to add. Yeah, I mean, I personally don't think much will happen this week in light of any big extreme type events. I think that's very possible in the next 6 months, but I don't think this week. But this is a very extreme gate. I mean, this gate 39, don't look at your human design graph. You might have this gate. And if you do, just seek the higher frequency expression, which means to look at what's possible over negative probabilities. And so if I were to practice what I preach here for the mundane expression of the collective, I'd say, be excited, enjoy the excitement of the week. It is 4th of July. It is a time to celebrate as much as I cannot stand firecrackers. It is a beautiful light spectacle and celebration. And there's nothing wrong in that. That's really great, even if I don't want to be a part of that. And at that, I wish you all great 4th of July and a great rest of your week. And I will get back to you with the next human design gate next week. And the best to you guys. Take care.